So I, 35 male, was in a motorcycle accident earlier this week. My wife, 35 female, has 3 kids from a previous marriage, nearly adult female and boys tween and preschool, and we have a baby together. I had a collapsed lung and had a chest tube put in, a broken leg and arm, and torn ligaments in my knee. I've been in the hospital since Monday. She came out after my accident and stayed till about 4 a.m. She was back that same morning, but had gone home each night. Yesterday, she only stayed until about 1 p.m. to prepare the house for the hurricane and didn't come at all today because the weather wasn't great, and she said she didn't want to leave the kids. I told her I was upset that I basically went through everything alone and that I would have done anything to be with her. She told me she'd been there as much as possible, and it's not fair to dump all the kids on her daughter, especially since I'll need a lot of help when I get home, and her daughter will need to help with the kids when she works. I told her marriage means through thick and thin, and I feel abandoned. Now I'm getting one-word answers from her. Am I the idiot for feeling like an afterthought? You're the idiot for not understanding that a teen shouldn't be responsible for 3 kids during a hurricane. The situation isn't ideal, but it's obvious she's been there as much as possible. Marriage means through thick and thin, but so does parenthood. The fact that you're not more understanding of her trying to balance all of her responsibilities during a hurricane is bizarre. As someone almost 40 and from a place that gets hurricanes, I would never leave them alone during one. So many things can happen during and after a hurricane, from falling trees to fires to flooding to roofs just leaving houses. It would be dangerous and neglectful to leave them without an adult. Maybe you're still on meds and aren't aware of how much of an idiot you sound. It's not as though she's leaving you to go party. She has kids, including one of yours. Don't get me wrong, Buddy is completely the idiot here, and his expectations of his wife were bananas. I'm trying to give the dude some grace, because we all turn into vulnerable babies when we're in enough pain. But yeah, this is not an adult man's logic speaking right now. I really doubt he ever does anything for the kids. So as far as he's concerned, they don't take any time at all. He didn't care for his family and infant child when he decided to take his donor cycle out for a spin. I wonder how much protective gear he opted to wear. He thinks that his partner ought to prioritize keeping him company, not even doing any actual care because he's in the hospital, over making sure her numerous children, one of them his infant child, are taken care of in the hurricane. I hope he's high, because otherwise, that's a really nice personality coming through there. Ugh. Oh boy, if you're okay enough to whine on the internet, I think you're okay enough not to have your wife at your side 24/7. Leave her the heck alone. She has enough to deal with, thanks to your irresponsible actions and the time she wasted visiting your ungrateful butt at the hospital. And increase your life insurance if you have a family and insist on riding a stupid motorcycle. So I, female 47, have 2 daughters, Belle 25 and Elise 23. My husband is a doctor and I'm an engineer, so we're financially well off. While we don't make enough to be considered rich, we make enough to give our children a privileged life. When my daughters were in high school, my husband and I realized we had around $150K each in savings for our children's educations. So we sat down and discussed with the girls about their college funds. Bella's always wanted to go to college, while Elise was more neutral about the whole thing. In a few years, Belle got into an excellent but expensive college and ended up wiping out the money plus some loans. She finished paying them off a year ago, and everything was fine. My younger daughter never really cared much for college. She got a degree in business from a community college and landed a job with a company. As a result, she didn't need to spend all the money we had saved for college, so I put it away. A few months ago, Elise was visiting me, and she was complaining about a house she and her husband really loved, but was out of her price range. I felt bad for her and discussed it with my husband, who suggested I give her the college money. I thought it over and decided to, and gave it to her. She was very happy and cried a lot. Well, they finally moved into their house this last week, and Elise invited the whole family to come visit and see the new house. When Belle arrived, she was taken aback, since the house was large and in a nice area. She asked how Elise was able to afford it, and Elise offhandedly mentioned that I gave her half the money. Belle didn't say anything but got really quiet and didn't speak to me for the rest of the evening. I called her yesterday and asked if something was wrong, and she kind of exploded at me, shouting that I was showing favoritism by giving Elise the money for the house, which was unfair. I tried to explain that it was the college money she had already received, but Belle said that she had taken out the loans despite our contribution, while Elise wouldn't have to worry about the house loans. I tried to explain my side, but she blocked me and must have told my sister because I got a call berating me for treating Belle less equally. My husband says that Belle is just acting entitled and to let it blow over, but I feel bad because it is true that Elise has no loans at all, while Belle was saddled with debt at a young age. Was I the idiot? You gave both your kids exactly the same. How they spent it was on them. Belle could have gone to a cheaper school and achieved the same educational result. She chose not to. You are not the idiot, but the eldest is an entitled brat. You are the idiot, OP. I'm not sure Belle knew that choosing a cheaper school and buying a house with the rest of the money was an option. Parents, be more open and upfront with your kids regarding finances. How do you expect them to plan their life if they have no idea how much support they can expect from you? I feel like I have to say this a lot here, but also a college degree isn't a thing that parents buy for their children. It's just an opportunity, one that the student has to invest in as well. They have to put in the hard work, and by virtue of that, they're also putting something on the line. Buying one child a house or other large purchases is just a free and clear investment. They're not quite an equal value, even if the monetary investment is the same. They don't require the same investment from the person receiving the money. This matters. There is an unfairness here. If I got an opportunity and a potential asset, and my sister got a valuable property that will 100% be a financial asset to her in the future, since she didn't pay full price for it, I would not be thrilled either. A degree may or may not pay off, but a house definitely will. I, male 23, have a younger sister, Paige, teen. Our parents weren't the best parents for many reasons, but I ended up having to be a stand-in parent for Paige and taking on a lot of responsibilities. It isn't the best circumstance, but Paige and I have a very close relationship due to it. My sister's a good kid despite our crappy parents. Paige still lives with our parents, but I'm the one who takes her to and picks her up from school every day, because they certainly won't do it. And she spends a lot of time at my apartment. She also occasionally sleeps over on the weekends. I have a girlfriend, Jackie, 23, who I've been dating for around 3 months. We were good friends in high school and reconnected after college. Jackie knew my family situation before we started dating, but it caused many problems. Whenever I leave to go take Paige to school or take her home from school, Jackie gets visibly annoyed about it. She's made multiple jokes where she'll say, I should just make Paige walk. We don't live in America, so the schools don't have their own buses. At first, Jackie didn't seem to mind Paige being around my apartment, but started making Paige feel unwelcome by making subtle comments like, shouldn't you be at your own house? I've tried to talk to Jackie about this multiple times so we can solve the issue, but each time I've brought it up, she gets defensive and swears that she doesn't have a problem with Paige. Finally, a few days ago, it caused a massive argument between us, and I'm considering breaking up with Jackie over this. While watching a movie with Jackie at my place, I got a phone call from Paige's school. She was feeling unwell and the nurse called me to say Paige needed to go home. My parents weren't answering their phones. I explained to Jackie and said I'd go pick Paige up. She seemed very annoyed, but I was just looking out for my sister. I drove to the school, picked Paige up, and drove her back to my apartment. I remembered I had an errand to run, so I told Jackie I'd be going again and asked if she wanted to come. She refused and seemed really irritated. I decided I'd talk to her once I got back. When I got back, Paige was crying, and Jackie was in the bedroom with the door closed. I asked what happened, and Paige said she accused her of manipulating me, screamed at her, and cussed her out. I was mortified. I knocked on the bedroom door and told Jackie we needed to talk. Jackie opened the door and said that Paige was a brat and that my girlfriend needed my attention too. I lost my temper, yelled at Jackie for speaking about my sister like that, and told her to leave. Jackie screamed at me as she was leaving. We haven't spoken since. and Jackie's friends are blowing up my phone, telling me I'm a terrible boyfriend. Not the idiot. You get that Jackie sees your sister as competition, right? Your girlfriend sees your sister, a kid, as competition. Your gut's telling you to break up. Do it. Protect your sister and yourself. Competition? It's just about attention. Jackie's a piece of work. She's been passive-aggressive with her jokes and aggressive with attacking Paige because she's jealous that she's not the center of attention. She entered into this relationship knowing OP's family history, but I guess she thought he'd magically cut his sister off because he had Jackie now. Jackie needs to be an ex, and her friends need to stop enabling her narcissistic behavior because what she's doing is toxic and disgusting. And this is happening only 3 months in? Woof. Girlfriend doesn't seem to have much empathy and too much drama for a 3-month relationship. This is some serious red flags here, OP. I would not recommend going further with this relationship for your own sake and your sister's sake. Send a group text to all of them. For example, my minor child sister needed me because she was sick. My adult 23-year-old girlfriend is jealous that I'm paying attention to a female that isn't her. This is gross, toxic, and very wrong. I'm not going to maintain a relationship with someone that screams at a child for being sick and having a crappy parental situation. If you want to be friends with her, feel free. But don't be surprised when all her boyfriends break up with her because she gets between them and their families and female friends. Then block them all and live your best life. I, male 38, let my nephew, Nick, 20, and his sister, Sadie, 18, move into my old apartment to stay rent-free and focus on college. This isn't a new thing because I've always been close to them and helped them and their parents, my brother, and his deceased wife, a lot. This situation started when my wife and I found out that my wife's pre-existing health issues has made her become infertile. This was so devastating for the whole family, not just us. My wife told me about a series of calls she received via our landline. She said that the caller would play a recording of baby noises and phrases like mama every single time. We get at least 4 to 5 calls a day, and I've listened to the last 2 of them. All had the same baby sounds. We figured it was someone mocking my wife's fertility issues, but didn't know who it was because we'd told many people about it. I told my friend about it, and he was able to identify the caller as my nephew Nick, and then my niece Sadie. I was in shock, and it took me some time to believe what I was told. After it was confirmed, I just broke down and went to the apartment and confronted them. They denied it until I threatened to evict them. They said they did it as a prank directed at my wife, not me, and they thought it was to get her to laugh. I called them idiots because my wife didn't laugh. She cried her eyes out every time we got those awful prank calls. I told them I wanted them out of my apartment and gave them eviction papers. They freaked out and started pleading with me till I left. They had my brother-in-law call me later to ask about what was happening. I told him, and he started apologizing on their behalf, saying that they were kids just messing around, not realizing what they were doing. He went on about how evicting them will affect them and him, since he's struggling with his own situation. I said I know he's a widower, he's struggling, but my decision will stand. He started begging me to let it go and promised to have Nick and Sadie grovel with apologies, but I refused. Now my parents got involved, saying the kid's dad is choosing to have nothing to do with them if they get evicted, and noted that the kids look up to me and I shouldn't let what happened ruin our relationship. Not the idiot. Sorry, any reasonable 18 and 20-year-olds would know this is not a funny prank. They don't get to live rent-free in your space while simultaneously being cruel to your wife. They need to learn that actions have consequences. They wouldn't hide behind anonymity if it was supposed to make her feel better. They don't feel bad. They just don't want to face any consequences. They tormented a woman, taunting her about her infertility. Who the heck thinks this is a prank? I know anymore pranking is just a term for bullying and humiliation. But who doesn't get that there's a line? There's no "they are kids," as they're cruel morons who deserve to be evicted. I hate "don't let it ruin the relationship you have." What relationship? The one where I put a free roof over their heads and they repeatedly traumatize my wife and me over our most vulnerable emotional pain? Yeah, it'd be a shame to let go of something so special. You should seriously rethink your relationship with all of these people, as they are beyond the pale to support such cruelty. And the nephew and niece should probably be dead to you in the future. There's something seriously wrong with them. I, 19 male, have a baby brother named Ian, preschooler, that I just love. He's my guy. I thought kids were noisy, but Ian is my star in the sky. He's my half-brother. My dad, 45, married his wife, 30, 6 years ago, and had my brother. But I don't really care. I'm always buying us matching stuff. Shirts, pants, sneakers, caps. It doesn't matter. My dad is in love with this and is always taking pictures of us. I, like any average guy, have 2 Instagrams, one for family and close friends, and the other for fun. My personal IG is private, and I have like 30 followers, and I follow like 40 people because, as I said, it's private. Whenever I take a photo with Ian, mostly when we're matching, I post it there. Both my dad and his wife follow that IG and know that I post Ian there. My dad has no problem, and I thought his wife didn't either. To be honest, she's not really a social media gal, and I rarely see her on her phone. I guess it was one of those times when she just checked and saw a pic of Ian and me on her feed. The next time I visited my dad, she pulled me aside with my dad there. She said that what I've been doing is disrespectful because I should have asked for their permission to expose their kid on social media, and she demanded that I delete all the photos because Ian isn't someone I should be showing off as a trophy. I was honestly appalled, and my dad was too, because I've never given the impression that I see my brother like that, and I truly love him. I apologized, but said that her comment was rude because she didn't get to project her feelings onto mine. My dad said that I don't have to delete the pics since all of them are harmless, but she said I was an idiot and that as Ian's mother, she gets to determine those things, and that I could delete them or she could sue me. My girlfriend agrees with her because, quote, a mom knows best. So I'm not sure. Everyone's the idiot here. A lot of parents don't want their kids' pictures on Instagram, and a private profile isn't truly private. You always ask before posting pics of kids, always. Your stepmom's way of asking you to remove the photos was way out of line too. There is a civil way to ask, and a burn this down way your stepmom went. Your dad should have done a much better job protecting you from her irrational flip out. OP had permission from the dad to post the pictures, so I don't think he was the idiot for posting them in the first place. It was reasonable to assume both parents were on the same page, since they were married. Honestly, the dad is more at fault than OP, in my opinion. He's going against his wife's wishes in what's pretty clearly a 2 yeses, 1 no type of situation. And in doing so, he's also further stoking the conflict between his wife and OP. Here's the thing. If you don't delete the pictures, it's pretty much guaranteed your stepmom will start limiting and/or supervising your time with your brother. She's his mom, and she has that right. You've made it clear you won't follow her rules. So what's more important to you, your time with your brother or the likes your photo gets on Instagram? Please note OP's comment that dad puts photos of baby bro on his Instagram, so mom's reasoning is moot. He's clarified that his private profile doesn't even have 40 people on it, and she knows who they are. Dad has a public profile with not only family and friends, but acquaintances from his work field on it. Not the idiot OP. She can't have it both ways. She's just singling you out, it seems.